Oh dear, it's been a long day. Picture it. You log into yet another online meeting, but this time it feels different. You can see people, yet something still feels off. Let's look at the engagement and participation. I'm a full-time researcher. I'm going to show you the research on it now for middle-aged men. We're looking at a researcher called Bonfort et al. They're looking at how virtual reality meetings versus video conferencing, how it performed. Now, over 4 months using real team meetings, they noticed that virtual reality improved co-presence and engagement and emotional connection, but had issues with usability and realism. The key themes that came from the research was spatial experience, we'll be looking into them now by the way, meeting atmosphere, emotional expression, productivity, and user need. Now, in looking at that study, we're also looking at a second study, which looked at the extended reality of meetings, which improved engagement, conversational flow, and a sense of togetherness compared to video calls. XR enabled better non-verbal communication, turn-taking, and natural interaction, closer face-to-face meetings. However, challenges still remain. Therefore, the studies are showing that there's still challenges. Even though there's positives, there can be unrealistic avatars. There can be technical immaturity and barriers to widespread adaptation by you and by all. Which leads us to our solutions. To focus firstly on human connection first. Not a big surprise. But what the studies are saying is that if we prioritize eye contact and attention, we'll actually have more fruitful connection even online. That means instead of looking at the person on the screen, which we naturally do, for example, with the likes of Zoom, to look into the camera when we're speaking to them, even if it's not somebody in authority, even if we are the person in authority, we're the chairperson, to look, to give that graciousness towards the person in the meeting. Also to encourage visible reactions. So be natural. Try and say, oh my gosh, I was on a meeting one time, for example, when somebody mentioned Tinder. It was totally out of context. There was about 8 or 10 people, and you could see people were slumped down and suddenly woke up, and the person reacted by saying, in their reaction, oh, I see reactions from you guys. This has really woken you up. And it was a laugh and a joke. But by building trust before tools, then you're making sure that the human connection is dictating the meeting. The second way is by using technology strategically. Be clever with it. Let's not just lean on it. After all, it is invented by human beings for human beings. At least that was the concept. All of these people wanted to invent these things to sell. But that's not a bad thing, because they wanted to sell in order to get money. That meant they knew they had competition. They knew that the rabbit was out of the bag, if that's what you're saying. I don't know, but it is now. And once it's out there, people are going to copy and imitate things, which is a good thing. But that also meant that the user has to have a user friendliness with this native new technology, i.e. the meetings, the VR, and so on. So by choosing tools based on purpose, you're getting to the advantage of this. By also avoiding complicating meetings, keeping them as efficient, and also knowing when you're online, when you're using virtual reality, that there could be technical issues, that there might actually be delays. So therefore, if it's a 1 hour meeting, to adopt the time, to bring in maybe 10-15 minutes, that there could be technical delays. And you know what? If there is not technical delays, so what? We get people out the door after 45 minutes and we have a more fruitful meeting, and people feel better afterwards and they're more willing to come to a second meeting that you're running. Blending virtual reality only when beneficial, because it's a tool. Let's not over dictate everything we're doing. Let it just be that, even though it's a powerful tool. Improve your non-verbal communication even on camera. Even if you feel I'm at home here, I'm nice and relaxed, it's nice and warm and cozy, and somebody else is out there at the end of the virtual reality and they don't look like they're in Siberia and they don't look like they're at all my type of person. It doesn't matter. You still have to interact. In fact, you have to give more energy out there. So use your gestures in the right way, the natural way, and voice tone actively. Really emphasize what you're trying to say. Get that feeling across. Look, as we know, people in meetings can get very frustrated, so we have to make sure that we are communicating properly. Turn your cameras or your avatars towards speakers. There's an advantage there. People listen, they hear, but they also see. You want to create that personal presence as much as possible. Signal engagement clearly by improving your non-verbal communication. You're doing this. Ideally, what we want to do is reduce our cognitive load as well. By shortening our meeting duration, it's very helpful. It's limiting our ability to dwell, to get emotional, to be stuck, and all other people around us too. Limit multitasking expectations, because people will pull up things in their hands and they'll be fiddling with them, and they'll be playing with pens, and they'll be looking at their screens. They'll want to get up and go to the toilet and eat and get hungry. This is what we want to limit. Build in breaks between meetings. Say, look guys, I'll give you 30 minutes here and then we'll have a 2-minute break, but we won't leave the room. There's a toilet within the room. That's by choosing the correct room and foreseeing people's needs. And if you're putting sugar on the counter or on the coffee table or wherever else you're having the meeting, in the main consultation room or wherever else, make sure that what's there doesn't distract them, even from an eating point of view. Normalize leveraging new tech. Provide simple onboarding. Give people directions or videos to watch prior to actually using the new tech. Allow mistakes without judgment. This is really important, because people are not technical junkies like maybe you are, or maybe I am, which I'm not, by the way, and I'm sure maybe you're not. But if you're the chair and the person, you just want to get the work done. You want to delegate and you want to make sure that things are done properly. So by allowing for the tech to be understood by others, any errors that come up then are yours, and somebody will help you in the meeting. Guess what? Because they have looked at the video. Encourage peer support also is important, because we want to try and at least appear as if it's a team. If people feel that they're not part of it and you're the leader, well, you've got to get them in there. And meetings can be tricky, stressful, depending on what's on the actual agenda. And so we want to make sure that the technology is not pulling away from it all. Balance formal and informal interactions too is truly important. By creating time for, say, casual conversation, it's a very good thing. You want to just avoid just having the break in the ice at the start and then just go straight into business, because that's boring. People know it's insincere. It's like, oh, how was the drive here? And suddenly you're into the meeting, and 45 minutes later it's like boring. No, you don't want that. You want to be like quirky, hit a joke at somebody and say, look, you're kind of quirky, or whatever happened at the dance, the annual convention, or when we went on that night away, or, just say something, be natural. Use break out or small, maybe group discussion. Look, this can be a little bit tricky. It can dwell for people. It can be a little bit of an excuse to get away from the main meeting. But if you do it with regard to doing something that's constructive, that is on the agenda, then that's ideal, because it might give people the confidence for them to be able to say things in smaller gatherings, even online. And build relationships, not just outcomes. By having that, we're making sure that the relationships that we're building with others is being cemented by online access or VR access. Try to also increase your meeting presence, and this can be done to eliminate distractions during meetings. By using immersive environments when needed, you will get benefit more so your presence, and encourage full attention participation in not just you, of course, but with others too. Now make sure to like, comment and subscribe on this video as we continue on to more points. Try to adapt your meeting formats, because if we avoid copying real world meetings exactly, we can adapt it towards, like, the template as such of meetings is needing to be adapted, because whatever you want that meeting for, whatever the whole idea of the meeting is there in the first place, it's there to get stuff done, getting all the hassle done, delegating, making sure somebody does something and comes back to you in the next meeting, or emails you after the next meeting, says things are done, thumbs up. So making sure it's linked in exactly with and aligned with what you want done. Use tech advantages such as spatial tools, or even maybe visuals, even sound bites or sound people, because they too need to be interacted and brought into the meeting. If there's a chair, make sure you can bring somebody in, like a guest speaker or a person who's taking notes. Give them 5 minutes to talk. If they're taking notes, that means they're writing down intently. They're seeing the words that you said, and you could say, give us a little recap right there after 5 minutes. Is there anything I missed? I did give you the agenda at the beginning, or you have the agenda at the start as well yourself. Redesign meetings for digital environments, because that's really important too. We're not in the reality of the real world. We're here online in some capacity. So try to foresee the potential disadvantages, and you can apologize if things crop up and you're not aware of them throughout the meeting. Also address emotional disconnection, because this can happen. We are online. I don't know what's happening in your room right now as you watch this. You don't know what's happening in my room except this. Well, there's more than a room here, as you can see. But it's the disconnection we want to avoid, because if we check in with participants regularly, we're going to be able to see things from their point of view. We want to try and keep them closer as human beings. We don't want meetings to pull away from the rapport that we've already built up within our team or our company. By encouraging honest feedback, we're going to get that rapport built, and the meetings will help us. We're going to try and improve on our meetings in the future and recognize signs of disengagement. If somebody is beginning to, you know what I mean, try to gradually adopt the XR or the VR. Start with, say, small pilot groups. So try it with 2 or 3, probably your best employees or the people at least that be honest and give your feedback. A peer, for example. Evaluate comfort and effectiveness. Give them maybe a secret ballot to fill out so that they can actually give you that honest feedback. And scale only when it adds value. And speaking of which, my value to you, my big takeaway from these studies is that both articles highlights a really key truth here, right? That technology alone doesn't make great meetings, but it can reshape it. And for middle-aged men like ourselves, this creates a pressure point between authenticity, feeling as if, gosh, I wasn't brought up in this, and so I want to just get my normal presence out there. But if you work with the technology and use people in smaller groups, you can do that. The real solution is not just choosing between video or VR, but knowing that human connection is there and digital interactions can be brought in a positive light also. Thanks for watching. Please like this video. If you subscribe, comment to say that you have, and we'll look after you.